Dear Diary, today I pleaded the fifth 111 times.
What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Tony was in the House, and the only thing that he said all day was that everybody's being mean to him.
Recently, his publicly releasing my unredacted personal diary aimed at embarrassing and intimidating me. The sole reason he is calling me before this committee is to get me to say something, anything, that could vindicate his repeated public pledges that I end up, in his words, quote, behind bars, unquote.
Fauci's diary dropped this week, and he got a lot of attention. Now, usually, Anthony loves attention. But he got caught in so many lies, his lawyers told him to shut up if he wanted to remain a free man. So the little guy was a grump.
What does the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution say?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
No, I'm just asking you what it says.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
I'm going to give the Constitution to my aide. He'll bring it over to you so you can have it for future reference.
The media used to say that pleading the fifth was for criminals.
You took the fifth
How long does that
400 times?
So does he still think it's disgraceful?
400 times over disgraceful.
Does he think it's something you only do if you're guilty?
400 times guilty.
And does he still think it's something that the mob does?
400 times.
Well,
Is he mobbed up?
Everybody just wanted to hear from the doctor, but instead we heard from his lawyer, who tried to steal the show.
Sir, you are not recognized. You are not recognized. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. You are being disruptive. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge would put you in jail. Look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered, for a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room.
Fauci's lawyer looked real familiar, and then it hit us.
He's represented some really great people, like Senator Bob Menendez. Maybe that's somebody who my Democrat colleagues may remember took gold bars as bribes from the Egyptians. And there's an article here in the Washington Free Beacon that talks about why you would hire a guy like Dervish Schertler, and the comment is, if you're in deep, that's who you call. Do you feel like you're in deep?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Fauci had more lawyers than OJ, which is weird because he's pardoned, thanks to Biden. So why does he need a pardon? There's 1 million dead Americans, and we just want to know what the doctor did and why. He told us he'd tell us.
If there are oversight hearings, I absolutely will cooperate fully and testify before the Congress if asked. You may not know, but I've testified before the Congress a few hundred times, okay, over the last 40 years or so. So I have no trouble testifying. We can defend and explain and stand by everything that we've said. So I have nothing to hide.
Another lie. We all know the virus came from a Chinese lab. There's no dispute over that. And we know Tony funded the lab. We have the receipts.
Can you explain to the committee why you chose to fund this dangerous research in China?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution.
We know the virus was man-made, and that was Fauci's specialty. And Fauci's on the record saying man-made viruses are worth the risk.
You said, even if a scientist is bitten, even if a pandemic should occur, the knowledge is worth the risks. Do you still stand by that? Do you think that the risks really are worth the benefits for gain-of-function research?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Fauci knew man-made viruses were dangerous and deadly. That's why he offshored it. It's also why the private sector doesn't touch it. It's too risky. Doctors take an oath to do no harm. Fauci violated that oath. Some people were harmed from the shot.
Dr. Fauci, my only question is, based on your lack of testimony here today, based quite honestly on our investigation into the cover-up of safety signals and injection injuries, you will be getting a letter today asking for a volunteer transcribed interview. So I'd be asking, will you comply or will I have to subpoena you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Expecting a subpoena.
When Fauci found out the vax didn't work the way it was supposed to, he didn't say anything. When the vax caused injuries, he covered it up. He got injured, blood clot. He didn't tell the public. All this is in his diary. Fauci wanted booster palooza, and Senator Ron Johnson discovered he was sabotaging treatments like ivermectin.
But you said there's no evidence. There's no evidence that ivermectin is helpful. On that exact same day, and I've got the studies right here. There was a website that was tracking the random controlled studies. Here they are, showing 60, 70% efficacy of ivermectin. The same day you say there's no evidence, there was all kinds of evidence.
Fauci downplayed natural immunity and over-the-counter so the vaccine companies could keep stabbing and jack up their stock price. And one of the most outrageous moments in the hearing was when we learned how rich Fauci got. Listen.
During the pandemic, you got rich, didn't you? You got rich while people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich. And not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you?
Thousands dead a day. And Tony was telling staff, put my name down for this award, $1 million prize, and tell the lawyers not to block it. Now, it's illegal for federal officials to solicit cash prizes, so that's another charge. And while he was self-dealing and dining with Tapper, he was posing for photo shoots.
You could sit for InStyle magazine, but you can't answer questions for the American people. You could sit for InStyle magazine, but you're here taking the fifth. You could sit for InStyle magazine and get $1 million in cash awards, but now the cat's got your tongue. I bet he does.
Fauci was being treated like Kim Kardashian, while the rest of the country quarantined and masked, homeschooled 6 feet apart, Thanksgiving canceled, blackballed if you contradicted the company line. Police were breaking up church services. Moms got arrested.
Your advice to communities like that, to idiotic politicians who enforce those rules, arrested that mom for watching a football game with her own family outside. When that story broke, I said to myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the do you think you were for doing that?
The truth has a way of coming out. Today, we learned that Fauci and Dr. Birx had a secret meeting to conspire against Trump and trap him into shutting down the economy. We learned Fauci bribed scientists with grant money so they'd say the virus didn't come from the lab. Did he also pay someone to lobby Biden for the pardon? And Rand Paul indicates Fauci destroyed evidence, thousands of emails. This guy was a greedy mad scientist on a power trip who didn't lose any sleep over the lives he destroyed. All he cared about was being a celebrity crush. That's what made Tony tick. Famous folks tickling his ego. The man didn't even have the decency to apologize.
I was disappointed. I had hoped that he would come forward and perhaps apologize. 1 million Americans died, and many people, myself included, believe that this virus came from a lab that was funded by the U.S. government. The decision for that funding came from Anthony Fauci. A terrible mistake, maybe one of the greatest mistakes in modern medical history, to fund this dangerous research in a less than safe lab in a totalitarian country.
Fauci couldn't even look the country in the eye.
Dr. Fauci, can you just turn around and look at the people behind you? You're not willing to do that? That's not a question. It's not a question. To your lawyer, it's not a question. It's a request. All you have to do is look up from your lawyers and look at the people who were absolutely shamed for saying what we know now to be the truth. You can't even look at them?
Fauci's like Kamala on The View. Can't think of a single thing he'd do differently. Because Fauci, all he cared about was himself. Now, Fauci couldn't talk, but we all know what he was thinking. We read the diary. He thinks he's Elvis. Dear Diary, I was totally swamped all night by people wanting to say hello, shake my hands, and take pictures with me. I could not get away from it. Dear Diary, as soon as people recognized me, there was a wave of applause and squealing and screaming and clapping and thanking me, with multiple people coming and asking for selfies. It was a little bit embarrassing, but it was just a manifestation of how people need a symbol of integrity and truth. Dear Diary, I was somewhat taken aback by the attention that was paid to me by all the celebrities who were there, were gushing to have their picture taken with me and to tell me how much they were appreciative of what I had been doing. Fauci's just as good as his first pitch.
Dr. Fauci, when you're ready, it's your pitch.
Now the doctor isn't famous, he's infamous. And he could be in a little bit more trouble. Fauci thought he could skate by taking the pardon and the fifth, but it's against the law to obstruct a congressional investigation. He could be in contempt.
If you've been granted complete immunity, we didn't grant him immunity, but the President Biden, granted him complete immunity. With the grant of immunity, do you still need Fifth Amendment protections, or do they apply? So, and telling that all he had to do today was tell the truth. If he testified and told the truth, even if he admitted to destroying thousands of records, which we think happened, there's no penalty that attaches. It would just be the truth.
So this isn't over. There's a vote next week to hold Fauci in contempt, and if he's indicted and convicted, he could face fines and a year in prison. I'm sure Fauci tonight is writing in his diary, Dear Diary, on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.